Hey legends, stop everything. What if that boring, old bronze penny in your junk drawer is secretly worth a fortune? We're talking 5 Australian legends from the 1940s to 1960s that look common but have smashed records. The Wartime Beast 1943, Historic Shift 1949, Monster Mintage 1950, Variety Packed 1962, and the Final Era King 1964. These leaping kangaroo beauties exploded from millions minted into blazing red gems, wild errors, and minted rarities that collectors fight over. Ordinary circulated? Pocket change. Pristine survivors? Absolute monsters, with top sales hitting 6 figures value. Let's get started. First up, the 1943 Australian penny, a true survivor from the heart of World War II that packs more drama, varieties, and hidden potential than you could ever imagine. This isn't just a coin, it's a bronze time capsule from when the world was on fire. Australia was cranking out currency like never before, and everyday pennies carried the weight of a nation in crisis. Flashback to 1943. The globe is engulfed in the biggest conflict in history. Australia's fighting on multiple fronts, resources are stretched thin, and the mints are under insane pressure to keep coins flowing for troops, civilians, and the war effort. The Royal Australian Mint couldn't handle the load alone, so they called in reinforcements. Pennies were struck not just in Melbourne and Perth, but outsourced to the Bombay Mint in India. That's right, 3 different mints across 2 continents, churning out this iconic bronze beast. Total mintage? A staggering over 53 million pieces. Melbourne, around 11 million, no mint mark. Perth, a massive 33 million plus. That's sneaky that after the Y in penny, the Y, variety. And Bombay, 9 million dots before and after penny, with a tiny I under King George VI bust for the classic version. Plus some wild sub-varieties without the I or with long/short denticles. Grab one of these and flip it. The obverse delivers pure royal gravitas. King George VI bare head facing left, designed by Thomas Humphrey Paget, encircled by the epic Latin legend George of 6D, G, BR, OMN, Rex F laughing face, IND, IMP. George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. Turn it over and POW, George Kruger Gray's leaping kangaroo in full flight, Australia curving overhead. Penny below, 1943 date, beside the 7-pointed star. That kangaroo isn't just jumping. It's charging through history. Everyday, circulated examples? Brown, worn, war-torn survivors. They're super common, fetching just a few dollars, maybe $5 to $20 in nicer VF or EF shape. But here's where the adrenaline kicks in. These pennies age like fine wine when preserved right. Original mint red luster? It's rocket fuel. Full red gems in MS63, MS64, or higher. They explode in value, hundreds to thousands depending on the mint. Perth Y often gets the edge for that crisp strike and subtle tone, while Bombay I varieties carry that exotic wartime provenance that makes collectors salivate. Proofs? Ultra rare, tiny numbers from Perth or Bombay, with dazzling mirror surfaces and frosted details that turn heads at every show. And the varieties? This year is a playground for specialists. You've got the Bombay I with large versus small denticles, long reverse denticles being scarcer, some without the I under the bust, Perth dot placements shifting slightly. And then the errors. Oh man, the errors. Broad strikes, struck outside the collar, spreading wide like a pancake, off-center misstrikes, 10% or more off, wild asymmetry, double strikes, brockages, full reverse impressions mirrored on the obverse, clipped planchets, die cracks snaking across the fields, laminations peeling like old paint. These turn a common 1943 into a one-of-a-kind monster. Check out these breathtaking high-grade examples that showcase that fiery, original red luster and razor-sharp details. Absolute stunners. Here's another pristine red gem with a kangaroo leaping in perfect detail. Talk about mint state magic. And feast your eyes on this wartime beauty, full red and flawless. This penny anchors the entire George VI series, 1938 to 1952. A must-have for typesets, date completists, error enthusiasts, and anyone obsessed with World War II history. Piece GS and NGC slabs make them investment-grade legends, with registry sets pushing top pops higher every year. As pre-decimal Aussie bronze heats up globally, the 1943's wartime story only adds fuel to the fire. The emotional punch? This coin circulated when soldiers were overseas, families rationed, and hope was everything. A penny in 1943 could buy a stamp, a sweet, or a moment of normalcy. Withdrawn in 1966, but still legal tender, it's a living link to Australia's resilient past. But now, prepare for the ultimate mind-blower. In the elite realm of flawless gem reds, unprecedented preservation, or jaw-dropping error masterpieces with rock-solid provenance, select extraordinary 1943 Australian pennies have rewritten the record books. One phenomenal specimen, in unimaginable condition, that captures the essence of wartime rarity, sold for $213,000. Unbelievable. A single 1943 penny commanding that colossal sum thanks to its perfect storm of history, quality, and collector frenzy. So treasure hunters, the 1943 Australian penny is no ordinary date. It's a wartime warrior waiting to be rediscovered. Scour those old coin tins, wartime heirlooms, and forgotten collections. Your next epic find could be right there, with that kangaroo poised to leap into your legacy. If this lit a fire under you, crush that like button, shout 1943 warrior in the comments if you're on the hunt or holding a banger. Subscribe and ring the bell for the next explosive installment in this series. The hype train never stops. Next up, the 1949 Australian penny. This isn't some dusty old relic. This is a post-war powerhouse that bridges the end of empire titles and the dawn of modern Australia. Loaded with massive production numbers, sneaky mint secrets, killer preservation potential, and a value ceiling that can launch into the stratosphere when the stars align. It's 1949. The world is healing from World War II. Australia is booming with immigration and industry. And the penny remains the everyday hero of the pound-shilling pence system. King George VI is on the throne, but big changes are brewing. India gains independence in 47, so the legend on the coin drops IND, MP, Emperor of India, starting around this era, marking a historic shift in the Commonwealth. The penny keeps rolling as the workhorse coin, buying lollies, bus fares, and small dreams across the nation. Design-wise, this one's a timeless stunner. Obverse. The mature, dignified portrait of King George VI by Thomas Humphrey Paget, facing left with that classic calm authority. Encircled by George's 6D, G-B-R-O-M-N, Rex Fighty I Def, George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, defender of the faith. No more emperor bit, a quiet but profound evolution. Reverse. George Kruger Gray's energetic kangaroo leaping leftward in full stride, Australia arcing above, penny below. The 1949 date hugging the seven-pointed Commonwealth star. That kangaroo looks like it's bounding toward freedom and prosperity. Mintage madness. Over 48 million struck in total. Melbourne Mint No Dut led with around 27 million, while Perth Mint Dut after Y in penny, the famous Y marker, added another 21 plus million. No Bombay this year, just the home team cranking them out. Circulated survivors? Brown, worn, battle-scarred from decades of pockets. They're plentiful. Worth a couple bucks max, maybe $10 to $20 in Sharp EF or a UNC. But the real fireworks ignite when you find one that dodged the toning bullet. Original mint red color is the holy grail here. Those blazing untouched copper reds that glow under light like fresh fire. High-grade MS63 to MS65 plus full red gems from Melbourne or Perth. They fetch hundreds, pushing into the thousands as collectors battle for that perfect luster. Perth Y often shines brighter with its alloy mix and strike quality, giving it that extra collector edge. Proofs? Extremely limited, tiny mintages from Perth, mirror-like fields, frosty devices, and deep red tones that make them absolute showstoppers for elite sets. Variety and error excitement? 1949 delivers the goods. Partial collar strikes, ram strike errors where the coin partially escapes the collar. Clipped planchets, off-center blows, die cracks weaving through the fields, laminations, and more. Some partial collar errors in choice UNC have become serious talking points in error circles. No massive rarities like earlier varieties, but the subtle differences in strike and tone keep specialists hooked. Feast your eyes on these incredible high-grade 1949 Australian pennies showcasing that explosive, original red luster and razor-sharp kangaroo detail. Pure numismatic eye candy. Here's another flawless gem with the king's portrait popping and that kangaroo mid-leap perfection. This penny is the backbone of any George VI collection, 1938 to 1952, essential for typesets, date runs, and thematic World War II/post-war stories. PCGS and NGC certification turns them into blue ribbon investments, with registry competitors pushing for top pops. As global interest in pre-decimal Australian bronze surges, the 1949's historical significance only amps up the demand. The feel-good factor is massive. This coin was in wallets during Australia's golden boom years, when life was rebuilding and optimism ruled. Pulled from circulation in '66, but forever legal tender, it's a tangible slice of resilience and change. Beginners love it as an accessible classic, while high-end hunters stack the reds for long-term glory. But now, hold on to your hats for the absolute game-changer. In the rarefied air of flawless gem preservation, impeccable original surfaces, or spectacular error masterpieces with bulletproof provenance, a select few extraordinary 1949 Australian pennies have smashed through the ceiling. One legendary example, in condition that redefines perfection for the date, realized $170,600 at auction. Mind officially blown, a humble 1949 penny hitting that monumental level through sheer historical magic and collector passion. Bottom line, coin crew? The 1949 Australian penny is a hidden powerhouse waiting to explode. Rummage through those old family collections, estate finds, and dusty tins. That kangaroo could be ready to jump straight into record territory for you. Next up, the 1950 Australian penny. This isn't your average pocket change relic. This is a post-war powerhouse from the King George VI era that screams history, rarity in the right condition, and potential for massive upside that'll have you digging through every old jar and drawer like a mad scientist. Imagine the scene. It's 1950. World War II is still fresh in everyone's minds. Australia's rebuilding, the economy's booming, and the penny, that trusty bronze companion, is being churned out to keep everyday life rolling. We're deep in the pre-decimal days, pounds, shillings, pence still ruling the roost before the big decimal switch in '66. This coin captures that pivotal moment in Aussie history, a true survivor from a golden age of Commonwealth coinage. Let's geek out on the design because it's pure classic magic. Obverse. The dignified bare head of King George VI facing left, designed by Thomas Humphrey Paget, surrounded by the powerful legend, George of 6D, G-B-R-O-M-N, Rex Fidei Idef. That's Latin for George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, defender of the faith. Flip it over and you got George Kruger Gray's legendary leaping kangaroo, bursting with energy to the left, with Australia arching above, penny below. The date 1950 nestled next to the seven-pointed Commonwealth star. And that kangaroo mid-jump like it's ready to bound right into your collection. Production was massive across two mints. Melbourne, no mint mark, smashed out around 36 million, while Perth, that tiny did after the Y in penny, the Y, variety, added over 21 million more. Total? A whopping 57 plus million pennies flooded the streets. So yeah, circulated brown examples? They're everywhere, worth a few bucks tops, maybe $1 to $5 in decent shape. But here's the explosive part. Survival in gem condition is the real rarity. These bronze beauties oxidize fast, turning chocolate brown over the decades. But the ones that stayed locked away in original rolls or hoards, they retain that blazing, original mint red luster. Full red gems that glow like embers. High-grade MS64, MS65, or better reds from either mint. They command hundreds, even thousands in heated auctions. Perth, Y. Pieces often edge out in value thanks to slightly different alloy tones and collector favoritism for that subtle dut. Proof strikes? Ultra-limited Melbourne and Perth proofs are prized unicorns with mirror fields and razor-sharp details that make collectors weak at the knees. And the error/variety hunters? This year delivers thrills. We're talking double strikes, off-center broad strikes, clipped planchets, indents, upset rotations like 270-degree flips, die cracks on AUST or DEI, and more. Some 1950Y Perth errors have become legends in error collecting circles. Imagine a dramatic 15% off-center mistrike or a double-struck monster in high grade. These turn ordinary dates into extraordinary payouts. Here are some stunning examples of pristine 1950 pennies that showcase that incredible red luster and detail. Feast your eyes on these gems. And another high-grade stunner with that perfect mint red popping. This coin is a cornerstone of any George VI penny set. From 1938 to 1952, it's right in the heart of the series. Type collectors need it, date runners obsess over every year, and investors love the steady climb as pre-decimal Aussie bronze gains global hype. PCGS and NGC slabs turn these into blue-chip pieces, secure, authenticated, and ready to shine in your registry. The nostalgia factor is off the charts too. This penny bought gum, newspapers, or a quick phone call back when life was simpler. With pennies pulled from circulation in 1966, survivors in top shape are getting scarcer every year. Demand from Aussie pride collectors worldwide keeps pushing prices higher. But now, brace yourselves for the nuclear-level hype. In the stratosphere of ultra-elite specimens, think flawless gem red preservation, impeccable strike, or insane error combinations with legendary provenance. Certain extraordinary 1950 Australian pennies have redefined what's possible. One mind-blowing example shattered all expectations when it hammered for $165,300. That's right, a single 1950 penny soaring to that epic figure because of its unmatched quality and historical thunder. So, coin warriors, the 1950 Australian penny isn't just a date. It's a portal to Australia's post-war soul. Hunt through those forgotten tins, estate lots, and family heirlooms. Your next monster could be waiting with that kangaroo ready to leap into legend status. Next up, the 1962 Australian penny. If you think pennies are just boring brown discs, think again. This bad boy from the early 60s is packed with history, massive mintages, hidden gems, killer varieties, and a price tag that can make jaws drop straight to the floor. Let's crank the energy to 11 right from the jump. It's 1962. Australia's still rocking the old pound-shilling pen system, but the decimal countdown is ticking loud. The penny, that classic bronze workhorse, is being pumped out in huge numbers as the country gears up for the big switch in '66. We're talking about a coin that looks simple. Queen Elizabeth II on the front, that iconic leaping kangaroo on the back. But oh man, the stories this one tells are legendary. Zoom in on the design obverse, side hits you with a young Queen Lizzie portrait by Mary Gillick, all graceful and powerful with the inscription, Elizabeth II Day Gratia Regina F. Laughing Face : wrapping around like royal bling. Flip it, George Kruger Gray's kangaroo is mid-air, full of bounce and Aussie spirit, with Australia curving above, penny below. The year 1962 tucked next to the 7-pointed Commonwealth star. Every detail screams classic pre-decimal glory. Now the mint action. This year's production was dominated by the Perth Mint. They cranked out a whopping 34,851,000 of these beauties, marked with that tiny that after the Y in penny, the famous Y variety. Melbourne chipped in too, but Perth was the heavy hitter here. Proofs? Super limited, just over 1,000 struck at Perth for collectors, making them instant treasures with mirror-like fields and frosty details that pop. Most 1962 pennies you find in change pockets or old tins. Circulated, brown, worth $1 or $2, maybe $5 if they're extra crisp. But don't get it twisted. This is where the real excitement explodes. We're hunting for those pristine survivors that kept their original mint red luster after all these decades. Full red gems in MS64, MS65, or higher. They command serious cash, hundreds, sometimes thousands in fierce auction battles. The red color is like rocket fuel for value. Once it fades to brown, the price chills out fast. And let's talk varieties, because 1962 delivers some absolute fire. The famous double-nose die variety on the Perth coins, a dramatic double die obverse, where Queen Elizabeth's nose shows that wild double image, along with ribbons and legends popping with extra thickness. Collectors go nuts for these. They can push prices way up, especially in high grades like MS62 or better. Then you've got other wild errors. Clipped planchets, off-center strikes, upset varieties where the coin's orientation is flipped wrong, die cracks, and more. One fully upset variety in EF condition? That's rare collector catnip right there. Proofs from Perth in 1962 are straight-up elite. Tiny mintage of around 1,064 pieces, often grading PR 65 or higher with stunning red tones. These are the pieces that serious typeset builders and registry chasers fight over tooth and nail. Imagine holding a mirror-finished 1962 proof penny. The detail on that kangaroo's muscles, the Queen's tiara sparkling, pure numismatic perfection. This coin sits right in the sweet spot of the Queen Elizabeth II penny series, 1953 to 1964, bridging the gap before Australia said goodbye to pennies forever. It got that nostalgic punch, a piece of everyday history from when a penny could still buy a bit of candy or a newspaper. Type collectors need it for complete sets. Date runners chase every year, and error hunters live for the hidden monsters lurking in plain sight. High-grade reds from Perth have been climbing steadily as pre-decimal interest surges worldwide. PCGS and NGC slabs make them pop even more. Those colorful labels and secure holders turn good coins into investment-grade legends. Whether you're a newbie grabbing your first Aussie bronze or a veteran stacking top pop registry pieces, the 1962 has layers for everyone. Here are some stunning examples of what we're talking about. Feast your eyes on these beauties. And check out this high-grade red gem vibe. Talk about luster. But hold on tight, because we're saving the biggest explosion for last. In the ultra-rare stratosphere of exceptional condition, flawless provenance, or mind-blowing error combos, certain elite 1962 Australian pennies have shattered expectations at auction. One extraordinary specimen, in unimaginable quality that redefined what a common year could achieve, sold for $115,800. That's right, a single 1962 penny hitting that astronomical level, because of its perfect preservation and historical magic. So what's the takeaway, coin fam? The 1962 Australian penny isn't just another date, it's a sleeping giant. Raid those jars, check grandma's drawers, scour eBay and local shops. Your ticket to numismatic glory could be hiding in plain sight with that kangaroo ready to leap into your collection. Next up, the 1964 Australian penny. It's the mid-60s. Australia's about to flip the switch to decimal currency, saying goodbye forever to pounds, shillings, and pence. The penny, that humble little bronze beast with a leaping kangaroo on the back, is in its final year of production. Over 64 million of these bad boys were minted in 1964 alone, making it one of the highest mintage pennies ever. But hold up, don't click away thinking common equals boring. Because buried in those millions are absolute monsters that can make collectors lose their minds. Let's break it down like true hype beasts. First, the basics that make this coin so iconic. On the obverse, you've got young Queen Elizabeth II looking regal as ever, designed by Mary Gillick, that classic portrait with the legend, Elizabeth II Day, Gracia, Regina, F. Laughing Face : Flip it over and BAM, George Kruger Gray's famous kangaroo mid-leap, full of energy, with Australia arching above, penny below, and the date 1964 chilling next to that 7-pointed Federation star. Pure Aussie vibes in every detail. Now 2 mints crank these out like crazy. Melbourne no mint mark, and Perth, that sneaky little dot after penny. Collectors call it the Y variety. Melbourne did around 10 million. Perth smashed out over 54 million. So yeah, most of you probably have a 1964 penny sitting around somewhere. Circulated ones in average shape? They're worth pocket change, maybe a couple bucks if they're nice. But here's where the energy ramps up. Condition is king in the penny world. We're talking about that glorious red luster, full original mint red color that pops like fireworks. These coins tone over time, turning brown or red-brown. But the ones that stayed pristine? Absolute fire. Top grade examples in MS65 or higher, especially those full red gems from Perth, have sold for thousands at auction. One stunning piece GS MS65 RB Perth penny has been known to hit around $2,600 in heated bidding wars. That's right, from a coin that cost 1 penny back in the day to serious money today. Imagine finding a roll of original mint state 1964s in your attic. Jackpot. And don't sleep on the errors and varieties. There are planchet flaws, die cracks, off-center strikes, and those subtle master die differences that serious collectors geek out over. Some Melbourne reverses from 1964 share traits with earlier dies, creating those tiny but valuable markers that separate the good from the legendary. Proof versions? Super rare, especially the Perth proof with only a handful known to exist. Those are unicorn-level stuff. But wait, we're not done hyping this up yet. This coin marks the end of an era. After 1964, Australia went decimal in 1966. Pennies became obsolete overnight, withdrawn from circulation, but still technically legal tender. That gives the 1964 a special nostalgic punch. It's literally the last bronze penny Australia ever made for circulation. Collectors chase them for typesets, date runs, and just pure Aussie pride. Whether you're a beginner grabbing your first pre-decimal coin or a high roller hunting registry grade reds, the 1964 has something for everyone. Now, let's get to the part that's gonna blow your minds. In the world of extreme rarities and once-in-a-lifetime finds, certain extraordinary 1964 Australian pennies, think unimaginable quality, unique provenance, or wild error combinations, have pushed boundaries nobody saw coming. One such jaw-dropping specimen shattered records when it sold for $245,000. Yeah, you heard that right. A single penny from 1964 crossing that insane threshold because of its flawless state and historical significance. So, moral of the story? Never underestimate the 1964 Australian penny. Check your change, dig through those old tins, hit up estate sales. Your next life-changing find could be staring right back at you with a kangaroo on it. If you're hyped, smash that like button, drop a comment with 1964 hype if you've got one in your collection, and subscribe for more insane coin breakdowns. Next up, we've got another banger in the series. Stay tuned. What do you think? Could you have a monster 1964 hiding somewhere? Let me know below. Peace out, coin fam. Keep hunting.